Hello, hi, and welcome all of you lovely people to BYJU'S. I'm Pallav, and I hope all of you are doing fine. And I also hope with your exams right around the corner, your preparations for those examinations are going good and seamlessly and as smooth as possible without any stress, without any tension. Is it? Oh, obviously not. I know there will be some amount of stress, some amount of tension, some amount of pressure you are under because it's the boards. Why else you would be here watching this video? So today I'm gonna help you maximize your scores for your science in your upcoming boards. I'll give you some tips, some guidelines, some advices on how to do that. But before we do that, let me answer a more deeper question. Why this thing is so important that we have to do all of this? Why people have told me millions of times that board is important, is the most important exam that you're going to give. Most of those people, though, they don't give reason, they just want you to accept that. Today I'll be telling you few of the reasons why 10th board is important. First, it will act as a milestone for your life. Because think about it, after 10th, all of your studies till LKG till 10th class boils down to one piece of paper that will be your 10th board exam result. Because after that, understand, nobody will care about whether you topped 6th grade or you scored 99% in 3rd grade. Nobody cares about that. Everybody will judge your uh, pre-high school performance academically on the basis of 10th board result. So it will be like a milestone, it will be like a checkpoint that you have in games, right? And very important checkpoint. The second one is because of competition. You'll be giving exams with competing with lakhs of people. It will not be like your regular 60, 70 people which you have known for years and years. All over the India, students will participate in this examinations. Last year, I think 2.5 lakh students were in the CBSE boards. All right, right? So lakhs of people, and this will act as a starting point for your career in this competitive environment. This will be the first competition that you're going to give with rest of your colleagues all over the India. Clear? All right. And it's not even a very hard competition though. Like if you talk about how will you succeed this competition, maybe 90% greater or 10 CGPA greater is like you say you have succeeded. 10% of people do that. 1 out of 10 people will score more than 90%. So it's not that hard. Like it's hard bit, but not that hard. It's not as hard as if you talk about more competitive examinations. If you go to engineering, if you say you have succeeded in going into IIT, the chance of going there is 1 in 100, 1%. It's not 1 in 10. So competition will get even fiercer as you go higher up in your career or academic path. Then admission criteria. This number will act directly as admission criteria from wherever you want to go. If you want a decent school, high school, or a decent pre-university, you will have to show these numbers and then they'll decide whether you're good enough for it. Like if I give you my example, I went to Kota after my schooling after 10th. Then there, it's not even a very good school. It's a decent school, DAV Kota. Their admission criteria is 92.8%. I with 93% just barely made it. Think about it. I have 93%. I was on high that I will get admission everywhere. Barely got admitted there. And not even a good school. Fierce competition. It will act as admission criteria for your next wherever you're trying to go to. And if it's decent school and decent whatever pre-university, it will ask you for your decent percentage and CGPA. Final thing is its influence does not end till high school. If you're going for undergraduates in foreign university, masters in foreign university, you have to build up a portfolio, and that portfolio requires you to give your 10th board marks, and that matters a lot. And not just only for that, if you want IIMs, MBA from IIMs, if you want to do GMAT, everywhere it matters. Even you're not going for any college, you're just applying for a job. In your CV, you have to write this 10 CGPA. It doesn't matter how much they will look into it, that whether it's good or not, 10th class exam result for that job or not. But anyway, you have to write it. So it has a lot of influence over your life. So make sure you get it right. Yes or no? So let's get started with, so that we have understood that this board is important. How to go about it? What are my action plans? So first is obviously know about syllabus and exam pattern. It's like know thy enemy. Enemy has a like negative connotation. Like know thy goal, know thy target. So we'll talk about syllabus and exam pattern. Then for the next 60 days is the preparation time. I'll be giving you some guidelines on your preparation, and then finally the day of your examination, how you should conduct yourself so that you get better marks. Because see, understand, the purpose is to get marks. It's not to show that you're knowledgeable, you are whatever. You have to get marks. That's the purpose, because that's what will go into that sheet. Clear? First, syllabus. 20 marks will be from your internal assessments, 80 marks from your theory board paper, approximately equal amount of questions from physics, chemistry, and maths. If you talk about physics, more important is effects of current, and you can say little bit less important is natural phenomena. In natural resources, you have our environment, which you can say is a part of chemistry. So biology. So biology has total of 30 mark question, chemistry with 25, and physics with 25. Now, it's not a very strict. It can change 1 or 2 mark here and there, and we are not worried about that. Now, as you know already, unless you have been living under a rock, that's your syllabus, 30% of it's gone. It will not be asked for this particular 2021 board examination. All right, what are they? I think most of you know, so I'll just skip over it pretty fast. First chapter, second chapter of your chemistry, nothing has changed. Chemical reactions and acid, bases, and salts. Third and fourth chapter, something has been removed. In non-metals, extraction, everything after extraction of metal is removed. Carbonates, compounds, 80% of his syllabus is gone. Just till homologous series you have to study. After that, everything is gone. In biology, one chapter completely is gone. Control and coordination, no more brain and hormones and all of those things. Don't have to study that. In your heredity and evolution part is completely gone. That is after 9.3, you don't have to study anything. Third, natural phenomena, that is about physics. Human eye and colorful world, something has been removed. Light, nothing has been removed. Human eye, all the biology part, you can say biology part because it was human eye. What are its defects? How do you correct it? And what are the different applications of those spherical mirrors and lenses? Gone. Will not be coming for your examinations. Magnetic effect of electric current, half of the chapter is gone. After AC, everything is gone. Done. Sources of energy, completely gone. Management of natural resources, not completely gone. It will not come for your boards, but it can come for your internal assessments. That's why I have not written it over here in the deleted portion part. These are your exam dates. I think all of you would be knowing that 6th May is where exam starts. English, 10th May Hindi. If you don't have IT and Sanskrit, that's pretty cool. Your exam ends at 27. Yeah. Okay. You know it already. And if you have some other extra subjects, other languages, make sure you go on CBSE website and check these guys out. Okay. Now, exam pattern. I'll not go into huge detail about it because again, I think you already know. 6 questions of 2 mark, 7 question of 3 mark, 3 question of 5 mark. There are no external choices. There could be internal choices inside a question, like question number 27 could be that do this or this, but you have to do question number 27. That's what I mean. From 1 to 20, initially questions will be pretty simple, like 1 word or 1 sentence question maximum. But you see total marks is 32. That means there is some thing that is happening here. So here 1 to 13 will be basically your MCQ and 1 word 1 mark question. Then 14 to 16, 14, 15, 16, there'll be A and R, assertion and reasoning type questions. And final 4 questions, that is 17, 18, 19, 20. These 4 questions will be comprehension type questions, and all of these questions will have 5 sub questions, but you have to answer only 4 of them. So each of them contains 4 marks. Clear? 17 will contain 4 marks, 18 4 marks, 19 4 marks, 20 4 marks. That's why we have total marks greater than 20. Clear? All right. Examples. So this is an assertion region. Yeah, you'll have 2 statements. Statement 1, statement 2. If first is correct, second is correct, second is good explanation, then A. Second is not a good explanation. B. If statement 1 is correct, second is incorrect, C. First is incorrect, second is correct. D. Clear? Just like example. After whitewashing the walls, shiny white finish on the walls is obtained after 2 or 3 days. Like, even if you don't know science, you know this statement is correct, right? Calcium oxide reacts with calcium dioxide to form calcium hydrogen carbonate, which gives shiny white finish. Now this, we know, is incorrect. This is not calcium hydrogen carbonate. This is calcium carbonate, which gives this milky white finish. And also, it's not calcium oxide that is reacting with carbon dioxide. It's CaOH2, this one. Slagged lime, not the quick lime. Understood? Okay, anyways, we don't need to go into the questions as well. This is a very huge question, so I'm not going to read it anywhere. But this will be like comprehension question. Like this is a comprehension on solenoid and how you pass current through it to give it magnetic field, and how that magnetic field changes with the amount of current that you're supplying. Okay, and on the basis of this, you'll have 5 questions. I've given you 2 as an example, like what type of energy conversion is observed in linear solenoid. So you're giving electricity, it's producing magnetic field. So electrical to magnetic. So B, I think. Anyways, it doesn't matter. You can solve the second one as well. All right, moving on to the second part. So as you have decided that board is important, as you have decided you need to score better marks in it, and on the top of it, you already have figured out that what are these exam patterns, what are the exam dates, what are the marking scheme, everything. Now, you are ready to prepare. You have 60 days to prepare, approximately. First and most important thing, everybody tells you, make a timetable. Make a timetable, make a timetable. Do not follow it, doesn't matter, make it again. Make 5 timetables in one day. All right, every week make timetables, doesn't matter, but make timetable. Because the purpose of making timetable is not just for you to fall in line or make sure that your target is getting completed. It's also to give you information that where you are weak, where you are strong, where you should give more time, where you should give less time. It gives you more knowledge about how deep you are under. Understood? So I'll suggest you spend today's whole day in making timetable for next 60 days. Make timetable, like take out all the books, write down all the chapters, and see how will you divide these chapters in all the following days. I'll be giving you some general criteria how you should do that, but when we'll come to that. So here, what it does that, it prioritizes your more important things. Like this is the time where you shouldn't be spending a lot of time on watching TV or watching internet or spending time social media. You shouldn't be doing that a huge lot of time. Prioritize your study, and in that also prioritize some subjects. Give more time to weak chapters, give less time to strong chapters where you're strong at. Give some time for numericals, give some time for studying it. Different, give some time for past year questions. That's how you have to make timetables. Clear? And the third point is earn your time for entertainment. It's examination time. It doesn't mean you have to leave everything and no entertainment at all, no happiness for next 2 hours. It's not the case. You can get your time for entertainment, but only when you have earned it. So if you have made a timetable that let's say till 6 p.m. you have to study, let's say 6 hours or 5 hours, whatever. Even if you have studied, let's say 4 hours, then you are eligible for that entertainment time that you have fixed it. If you haven't done the slogging part, you are not getting entertainment part. Or I'm not telling you that, you have to tell this to yourself. Okay, now this is a general idea that how you should divide your 60-day timetable. Obviously this is not a hardcore rule. You can make your own up. You can give 45 days for preparation and different days. My idea, what you're doing, 48 days for preparation, next 8 days for like nth revision. As many times the revision as you do, as better. And final 4 days for just giving mock test, so that you get in the groove of giving your tests, giving your examinations. All right, now 48 days of preparation, how you should go about it. I'm talking only about science. Science has 13 chapters if you count our environment also, but I'm not counting that. You can squeeze it somewhere. 12 chapters, 48 days, 4 days per chapter. 4 days per chapter. And I want you to spend at least 2 hours per day on science. Rest of hours spend it on anything. I'm not liable for that. 2 hours I want you to spend on science. First day, day number 1, first 2 hours, you should read your textbook. Read all the content and don't just read like this. Make notes, make flashcards, make important things separate for when you're reading that so that you can refer it before examinations. That is your day 1, day number 1. Day number 2 and day number 3. After day 1, you shouldn't be reading anymore unless you get doubt in question. After that, you should be only solving question. Day 2, textbook exercises, in-text question. Day 3, HOTS and exemplar problems. If you are very good with 2, go for 3. Final day of that chapter, the last 2 hours, you have to spend on chapter-wise past year paper. You get these content, I think, pretty easily. They'll have chapter-wise past year questions that were asked in boards. Go to that chapter, solve all the problems that came for boards for that chapter. Clear? All right. So this was general idea. Now, some generic points about how you should go about studying physics, chemistry, and maths. Physics, as you know, has a lot of concepts. It has very less mugging points. I think you can say 1/10 of the things you have to mug in chemistry and biology that you have to mug it over here. All right. And I'm not biased at all. It's not that I'm a physics teacher. That's why I'm biased. All right. It is easiest subject. 4-5 concepts each chapter. Concepts are pretty easy. Solve numericals on them. Remember the formula. Know the derivation. Do the reasoning and applications. All the applications regarding it you should know. You should solve numerical problems and do things about diagrams, because generally physics doesn't have diagrams, a lot of it. But in this year, you have 2 of it. Circuit diagram you'll not be asked to make. Questions will be asked on circuit diagrams, but ray diagrams very well could be asked to make. Now, human eye, since it's removed, it's very, very likely that only ray diagrams will be asked, because previously they used to ask, make the structure of human eye in physics also. All right, chemistry. Chemistry, lots of things you have to mug. So, apart from remembering periodic table trends and important properties of different properties, do all of that by making it easier using some mnemonics, some kind of using acronyms. Clear? Like one of the thing which I made, I remember it still now. Red cat purse. Red cat purse. Like there is a ginger cat, right? It purse. So reduction, cathode, positive. Reduction, cathode, positive. The reduction happens at cathode and it is positive, but it is positive for cell case. If you're doing electrolysis or you're doing electroplating, then it will be negative. Cation is always positive. Anyway, you know more chemistry than me, I think. All right, so I'm a physics guy. Okay, so remember it. Next, mnemonics. You can use that, and you can use these things for biology as well. All right, because biology, just like physics, it has a huge amount of terminology, huge amount of definitions. You have to remember names, different names, and you get confused unless you use acronyms and mnemonics. Clear? And they, again, very generic advices. Remember diagram, remember how to label them, all the terminologies. You should remember what are their definitions, where there are, what are the different processes, and what are the differences between those processes. Clear? All right. Now, regarding your last 4 days of solving your mock test, solving previous year problems, I want you to use a timer. And I want you to use a timer of 3 hours. I don't want you to give this mock test or any mock test in 15 steps. Like 1 to 5, I'm doing it morning, 5 to 10 and doing in noon, 10 to 20 next day. Don't do it like that. That's not the how mock test should be given. It should be given just as you would give examination. Straight, sit for 3 hours. Don't take a break. Give the mock test. All right. And if you're thinking that everybody tells me to take breaks while studying, yes, that's the good way to go about it. But it doesn't mean that's the only way you should study. It's just like, let's say, analogy. You're walking. I'm not stopping you from walking. That's the normal way you should do things. But you should know also to do a long jump, so that whenever the puddle comes, you should know how to do it. So it's just like you should know how to sit for 3 hours straight without your mind asking for fun and breaks. So that will give you a kind of more idea about that how you should be patient about not craving for those fun ideas. Clear? So make sure you do that with a timer. Now, final is your exam tips. Now, exam tips, I'll not go into huge details because you already know these things. These are pretty generic in nature. CBSE gives you 15 minutes to study these questions paper. Make sure you utilize these 15 minutes properly. Make sure you highlight all the keywords in a complicated question. Make sure you mark that this is a complicated question. Make sure you mark something as an easy question. And if you get even more time than that, then you can start solving questions like MCQ. You can start solving. Okay? Or some numericals is there. You can start doing that numericals. Do it with pencil. All right? Okay. Now, if it's a hard problem, if it's an easy problem, you just recall it from memory, give the answer, everything good. If it's a hard problem, there's no such thing, I believe, called as hard problem. It will be a combination of small problems, and the combinations or the connection between them could be tricky. So that's a hard problem. Like, for example, you have something like this, some object is placed in convex mirror, its image object distance is given. Now it's asked that if object is now moved away from the lens. So from using the first part, you have to calculate focal length and height of the object, height of the whatever. And then use that information in the second part to solve that problem. And to do that, you have to follow these things. Break questions into parts. You should be clear about structure of the solutions which you're going to get. So first I'll solve this, then I'll use that answer into the other part, then I'll solve this, then I'll use that answer in the third part, and I'll get that final answer. That should be clear. All right, proceed stepwise. Okay, good. Now, I'll be showing you some sample problems and sample answers from toppers, like some kind of examples so that you can make your answers better. So first, if it's a 2-mark question, like it's a draw a labeled ray diagram of path of rays shown by this, directed towards principal focus of convex mirror. So you have to make a ray diagram and you have to mark angle of incidence and angle of reflections on it. So pretty simple question, but you understand that hidden are the things that you have to do over here, that each of them contains mark, like drawing a mirror, obviously, drawing ray diagram, obviously, I and R, it's given directly that you have to mark this. So obviously it contains marks. And arrows also, if you don't put them, then how do you know it's going from principal axis to outside or outside towards the parallel to the principal axis? So that's why these arrows are very important. And you see, this topper guy has, or girl, has made very beautiful answer. Proper diagram, proper labeling, or showing that what do you mean by I and R here, labeling, and a statement regarding what would happen. Yes, it's shown, but a statement never hurts. Or you can write one more statement that I is angle of incidence, R is angle of reflection. Clear? All right. Now, you might have noted that copper powder is heated in a china dish and the reddish brown surface of copper powder becomes coated with black substance. Again, this is a 3-mark question, but you have 4. So obviously, 2 of them will be of half of marks. Let's see which of them are half of marks. So what is this black substance? Half marks. Final. This is also. How do you convert that black coating back again to reddish brown? That's also half marks. So you have to notice these things and then you have to answer, because if it's a 2-mark question, you don't need to be like writing 5 paragraphs on that. Okay, clear? Let's see this example. So answer is pretty simple. Everywhere try to write chemical equation. Even if it is a little hint that it contains some chemical equation, write that. Okay, good. Now, one final example of a question which is about biology. So it says, draw a diagram of human female reproductive system and label the parts. Now you see, it just says label these 2 parts, and you understand that this is a 5-mark question, but yes, they have other parts as well. So maximum it could be is 311. Maximum. So don't need to label all the parts. It's just saying label 2 of them, just label 2 of them. And you see, marking scheme is just, this is not even 311. This is 212. 2, 1 and 2. Yes, clear? All right. So let's see one answer. So what was the first question? Draw human female reproductive system and only label these two parts. You can label more, but only these two will fetch you marks. Others are just extra. Nobody or your examiner will not care about them. List 2 bacterial diseases which are transmitted sexually, and what are the contraceptive drugs? That was the third question. So see, diagram, level 1, level 2, and level 1 and level 2. That's all. B, diseases, just one statement, 1 mark question. What more do you want? C, 2 mark question again. So 2, I think it was asking some contours. Yeah, okay. So 2 points for 2 marks. Done. That's all. And if you do that, nobody is going to cut your even half mark. Clear? Alright, finally we are talking about most common errors which you do in your examination hall. And if you avoid half of your errors, at least you will get 5-6 more marks. And even 1 mark in board is like super extra critical. Alright, what are the most common errors? First of all, copying incorrect data. In the question paper, it's written 60 meter per second. You are writing 50 meter per second. Obviously, you'll get wrong answer. Deriving instead of just writing the formula. It's giving you that image distance is this, focal length is this, where is the object distance? And you started by deriving mirror formula. Don't do that. It's just asking object or image distance. You use the formula and give the answer. On the other hand of a spectrum, end of a spectrum, it's just not writing with the formula. It's just everything is given and you're writing 1 by f equals 1 by 15 minus 1 by 20, whatever. At least write 1 by f equals 1 by v plus 1 by u. Okay? Proper units. While doing calculation, you don't need to specify units, but when you have reached end of it, when you have reached at the final answer, at that point, you must specify at what unit. Because if you're just saying 20, it doesn't make even sense. 20 micrometer or 20 kilometer. So your answer could be drastically different if your units change. Not writing chemical equations, chemical reactions. I told you, whenever there is a little bit hint that there is a chemical formula, chemical equations involved, write it. It makes your answer much better. It compels your examiner to give you numbers. Next, missing diagram illustration. This is again obviously true even if it's not asked. If it's a 5 mark question that let's say is some random, what are defects of eye? It's not given directly that you have to make diagrams of defects of eye, even though that thing has been removed. I'm just giving it an example. So you need to make it. Even if it's not written, you have to understand that you have to put diagrams wherever necessary. Calculation error. This was my arch nemesis. I'd still do that, like 12 by 6, I put 3. So I still do these kinds of things. Don't do that. All right. I still remember in my 10th board, I put sine 30 degree as root 3 by 2. I still remember that. Then mentioning incorrect question number for the answer. This is like, this got hurt, right? You understood the question carefully. You have done the answers carefully. You have done everything perfectly. Just the question number is wrong. That will hurt. Don't do that. All right. Be careful about it. And final, don't forget the questions which you have skipped. First of all, I'd say don't skip questions. Don't just say that I'll do it later. At least put some spaces so that whenever you're revising your answer sheet, you know that there's something has to be written over there. Or at least when you know that it's not, you don't know that thing, at least you know that it's not, you're not missing it. One more way to miss this is when what you do is, let's say question number 19, question number 21. They are pretty big question. Question number 20 is 1-line question. You skip that. You don't see it. Don't do that. I've done that and I have regretted it. Don't do that. All right. So with that, we have reached end of this video. I hope this video has instilled a little bit confidence in you to tackle these programs, these exams better. And one more important advice I'd like to give you is you have to be positive. You have to be not just positive, you have to be super duper ultra positive, because it's not the normal situation where just being positive will do you good. It's a stressful situation. It's a bad situation where everybody's talking about boards. Everybody like Sunita auntie, no offense to Sunita auntie, is telling me that her sister's son is getting 99%, Gupta uncle's son is getting listen, take it out. All right, understood. always convince yourself that you have done the practice, you will do the hard work, and you will be prepared, whatever is the cost at the end when exam comes. And when you do that, automatically your path for preparation will become much, much, much easier. All right. So that will be all. Thank you for joining us, and keep learning with BYJU'S.